I know why you clicked on this video. You're tired of playing the nice girl and always just not getting exactly what you want. You understand that being nice doesn't get you what you want, which is why you've come to this video. Toxic dating rules all girls need to follow. And yes, they will be toxic. And some of them you might even say, this is not toxic. You're just telling me something I'm not willing to do. That's why they're toxic, girl. And yes, I am in my laundry room doing this video because sometimes you need the acoustics to be able to really get the message home. And that is not my sock, by the way. So brace yourself, get ready, because this advice is about to be so toxic that you might be like, damn, I could never do that. But you want to watch it anyways because you want to know if it's actually that toxic or if it's actually really gonna save you, because it will. It will save you, okay? Let's get into it. Dating rule number 1 is put yourself first. You're not getting what you want from a relationship or from dating because you want everything to be equal and everything to be, well, I want to know how they're feeling too. Girl, for the past 5 years or actually your whole life, you've been putting everybody first. And when you put everybody first, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, she's the person who's gonna put me first. And that's why you end up with people that put themselves first and not you. You got to put yourself first. You got to put what you want first. And that doesn't mean running around being like, I'm only gonna date someone if they love me more. It just means you understand you can't be dating nobody unless they actually make your life better. Dating is not you having a fun summer project. Dating is not you taking care of a shelter dog. Dating is something you have to start seeing as something that's gonna have to make your life better in whatever way you want your life to be better. And that can be emotional too, not just money. Number 2 is figure out what you want. And the reason why this one is toxic is because people don't usually tell you that the reason you're getting all of the things you don't want, narcissistic people, all of that stuff, is because that's the only thing you can focus on. You're literally using the law of attraction against yourself by only focusing on all of the things you don't want. Because whatever it is you put your attention towards, energy is gonna flow towards. And because you have no idea what it is that you actually want in a relationship, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get more of not knowing, you're gonna get more confusion, and you're gonna get more of all of the things you don't want because you can declare loud and proud, I don't want a narcissistic man, I don't want this, I don't want that. The universe doesn't hear don't. If I say, don't think about an apple, don't think about a circus, don't think about a kitten, what are you thinking about? Yes, exactly. That's my point. That's how the law of attraction works. You need to figure out what you want. And if you can't figure out what you want, put what you don't want into ChatGPT and let ChatGPT tell you what it is that you want based on that. Number 3 is put business before pleasure. And that doesn't mean marrying a man for his money. No, that means you need to have something going on for yourself before you indulge in what it is to be in a relationship. You either gotta be having something going on when it comes to getting an education, having projects in your life, and having a man is not a project, having a man is not a hobby. You need to start a business. Because the reason why you probably end up having terrible relationships with people is because you have nothing to defend. When you have your time, your access, and something you're building to defend, you're also going to make way smarter choices with the people you let into your life, because the people you let into your life will determine the time and the effort you can put into yourself. If you have someone who's draining your energy, you're not going to have energy to pour into your business. And you will think smarter, you will make smarter choices. You need to have a business, a hobby, something you do that has nothing to do with dating. So it's not just you sitting waiting around for your next date or your hobby being on dating apps. And that leads me to number 4, which is get off the dating app. If you are someone who is a significant people pleaser, or maybe you're a neurodivergent, dating apps are not for you, because dating apps are literally made to make women comfortable with being breadcrumb. They're meant to train women into settling for less because we get just enough validation to keep us hooked, but not enough to keep us away, which makes women keep on circling back for the push and the pull. It also skews your sense of what is actually a healthy relationship, because when you are on a dating app, you literally make your energy available. When you put your picture up, you're literally saying, I'm available for you to talk to me, and people will talk to you however they please. Spiritually, it makes you less protected. The toxic advice here is that it's actually toxic for you to be on dating apps, which is why you gotta remove your energy from. So you can actually sit with your own energy and realize the power of it. But another dating rule you have to follow is you have to be aware of men that walk up to you in the street and try to interact with you. Men that try to find you in the wild are wild. And you might think, oh my God, but what if I drop something and they're just trying to be nice? If they drop something, they wouldn't say, hey, can I talk to you? They would say, oh, you dropped something, here it is. People you meet in the wild will be wild. And you might say, well, where am I supposed to meet people then? Doing activities that resonate with the life you want to live. If you're into art, go to the museum, go out, be out in curated environments, but not in the wild. Someone who walks up to you in the wild, it's a wild Pokemon that hasn't been trained, and they're just saying like, pokey, 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 trying to get your attention so that you can train them. That's not what you're here to do. You're not here to train anybody. If you're walking out and about, it's because you're going somewhere and they feel the right to stop you from going where you need to go. The next rule is you have to stop talking and start observing more. A lot of the times when these wild Pokemons come up to you, wherever they might come from, they start interacting and asking questions. And a lot of women will feel like in order to not come off as rude, they need to interact back. But this is literally just giving access to your energy. Sometimes the best thing you can do, and a lot of times the best thing you can do as a woman, is see what happens when you put your AirPods in and you just continue walking like, what was that? I don't speak that language. You are not rude for doing that. You're just literally rewiring your brain to not be a people pleaser anymore. Because as a people pleaser, you've probably been affirming too many people's BS, interacting with too many people's negativity, which has literally made your life negative as well. You need to get out of that, which is why you need to say no by walking away and not interact. And also the not interacting will get you out of these situations quicker than the, I don't want to talk. And the next advice is stop coming off as toxic, which seems toxic because it might seem with all this advice that you need to be like, I want this, I want that. I want princess treatment. If you're not going to give it to me, you're out the door. Or like when he pays for the check, it's like, yeah, that's right. You can't be doing that. First and foremost, that's not how a woman who gets what she wants and gets princess treatment behaves. She is soft because she knows if she's not going to get it here, she's just going to remove her energy and go where she's wanted. So there's no aggressiveness. There's no, oh, you need to treat me better. She understands that the best treatment someone can get if they are not giving her what she wants is just silence. It's removing her energy. But also generally when it comes to relationships, sweetness is great when things go right. And when things are not going exactly how you want, it's removing energy, not feeding in it with anger, because that's still giving your energy. And a lot of men don't care if your energy is negative. Bad people generally don't care if your energy is negative or positive. They just want your energy, which is why when things are not going your way, you need to remove the energy, not feed back into it with like, I don't want this, I don't want that, mad. Because that's just still giving your energy. That's getting you riled up. It's getting the energy that you could actually focus on making yourself have a better life somewhere else. That's why when things are not going your way, you need to remove your energy. And if you're always someone who gets super emotional when people trigger you, that's something you gotta work on, because that will mean that you're probably someone who's gonna end up in relationships with people that trigger you because you are addicted to the rush and the thrill of being around people that create ups and downs. Think about Carrie Bradshaw in Sex and the City. Yes, we went there. Power lies in sweetness and indifference. So also stop sending long messages. Like you're not winning anything, you're just giving your energy. Next rule you have to follow is you gotta stop oversharing, because your oversharing is literally creating a self-fulfilling prophecy where the things you've gone through are gonna happen again. You're using the law of attraction against yourself by putting energy into the things you don't want happening. You might think, well, by sharing everything I've gone through and all of the things that happened to me, that's just me being open and having good conversation. And the right man should be able to handle what I've gone through. Not on a freaking first date. If you cannot talk about anything than the things you've been through and all of the things that makes you a big, then you're not ready to date. Because what's gonna happen is that person will have nothing else to talk to you about but that. And then you'll start feeling like, oh, they always bring that up, because it's the only thing you can literally focus on. And actually, if they're healthy, they're probably going to remove themselves from that, not want to interact with that. And then you might say, wow, nobody chooses me, and enforce that victimhood again. But a healthy person is never going to want to hear the victim story. A healthy person will remove themselves from that energy because they want to protect their own peace, which is extremely freaking legit. We cannot start creating our victory story unless we step out of the victim mentality. And where the toxicity lies in this is that you have to face your own toxicity before you can actually date. Oversharing the things you've gone through are not quirks, they're trauma dumping, and with the wrong person, it's going to create trauma bonding where you're expecting them to handle your emotions, what you've gone through, in a way that you're not even willing to handle what you've gone through. If you were willing to handle what you've gone through yourself, you would let yourself grow past that and know that you can't just trust someone you met on the first date with information like that. You have to focus more on the things that you want, the things that excite you, the things you're working on, the things you want in your life, because that will make the person you're dating know what life to create for you instead of the trauma from the life you're trying to not be in anymore. The next one is don't share all of your dating stuff with your friends. If you are someone who's gone through a lot or who's trying to actually get a healthy relationship with someone who adores you, who's going to take care of you, who's going to create your dream life with them, then sometimes sharing all of that stuff with everybody and their mom and your mom is actually going to make you doubt the relationship more. And most likely, if you're someone who's been around a lot of toxic people, you'll actually kind of curse your relationship or your dating based on the toxicity that other people exude. You might think it's cool to share all of the dating gossip with your friends, but it's actually using the law of attraction against yourself because you're putting focus on all of the things you don't want and bad things, which is just kind of digging a hole for you to fall into spiritually, because you're going to want to use your dating stories as leverage in your relationships with other people, your friendships, and maybe even talking to your mom, for example, to keep it cool and fun. The next one is toxic because it's actually positive, which might sound strange compared to all of the toxic female advice that's out there. But when it comes to dating, you actually have to nourish the positivity in your relationship by using the law of attraction. If you want your partner to treat you better, if you want your partner to give you princess treat, you have to instill those values in your partner by hyping him up for what he does for you. You cannot be focusing on all of the things she doesn't do. You cannot be focusing on, oh, you're such a bad partner, you don't do this and you don't do that. Of course, they're setting boundaries in specific scenarios and saying, you know what, I don't appreciate that. But law of attraction, aka speaking into existence what you want, has to be the main driver. If you want your man to spoil you more, whenever he gets you something, say, I love it when you get me stuff. When he gets your nails done, be like, oh, I love it when you pamper me. You have to talk love into a man. I love you for doing this for me. I love that you know how to take care of things. Thank you so much. It's toxic because it's not being a bad person. And the next toxic advice is you gotta be more fun than you're some like mysterious black cat. The reason why a lot of you don't know how to do the black cat nonchalant, yeah, I'm the mysterious woman, is because that's not your personality. Maybe you are an overtalker. Maybe you are someone who just wants to be out there. Your mysteriousness lies within your need to have fun. And the having fun will protect, because when you're someone who's just more of like a having fun person, then people have to facilitate your fun. And that means they can't be bringing all sorts of problems and stuff to your plate, because in order to be around you, they need to make sure things are good and you're having fun. Which is why having fun is a great way of being mysterious, because when people see you, they know that you're the gimmicky fun person. And that's sometimes better than being fake mysterious, like, I'm so mysterious, when you literally have ants in your pants and you want to go dance. Let the mysteriousness be. People know you're fun, but they don't know that much else. And haha, we're not done. I'm just gonna add one little extra piece of advice, which is focus on your beauty. Put your self-growth, self-help, beauty first. Because beauty doesn't mean looking like a Victoria's Secret model. It just means understanding the value of putting energy into yourself. That will save you time and time again. And it will also make you realize the importance of your own energy, because now you're putting energy into yourself, which is exactly why the playing dumb and putting more effort into your look will actually be extremely protected spiritually, which is exactly why leaning more into your pretty privilege will actually teach you a lot of spiritual things, which is also going to help you manage dating and make you attract healthy people and a healthy partner into your life that will respect you, adore you, give you princess treatment and everything that you want. Because you respect, you give yourself what you want. You love yourself. That self-love in beauty, but also in self-care will literally transform everything. And that leads me to the last piece of advice, which is always the most goated piece of advice, which is play dumb. Learn to play dumb. You are always going to end up being the one who's literally dragging the load in a relationship unless you get comfortable understanding that a smart person is a person who is comfortable playing dumb. That doesn't mean you are dumb. That doesn't mean that you're going to be acting dumb around the right person. It just means you understand that you're not here to be efficient for anyone. You're not here to over-explain yourself. You're not here to show how much of a woman you are and you can handle all of this. Playing dumb means you understand the value of who you are inherently. You're not here to prove yourself. You are enough woman as you are for just existing. You don't have to be someone who's like, well, I do this, I do that, I have this, I have that. Your existence and your willingness to experience having fun, living a good life on this planet, that's enough of a reason for you to get what you want. You're not smart for arguing with stupid people about stupid things. You both look stupid from a distance. So learn to play dumb. So there you have it, guys. Those were the toxic pieces of advice that all girls should know when it comes to dating. And you might say, they're actually not that toxic, Talia. What do you mean? But in this world, sometimes just putting yourself first can be seen as toxic. Sometimes just wanting to sit with your own energy and understanding your own power and just actually healing yourself can be seen as toxic. Which is why a lot of this advice could be seen as toxic. But this is a guide that will help you time and time again to actually attract a healthy partner, because we are getting rid of all of the toxicity that actually is. And then we're actually making space for your dream life. And don't forget, we always use the law of attraction, because the law of attraction is that girl, always been that girl, always will be that girl. So make sure you stay toxic. Make sure you implement these rules in your dating, and make sure you put yourself first. Go out there, give yourself a kiss. And now I'm gonna finish my laundry.